Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to all the brothers out there pushing this word in sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping this word in sincerity and in truth. Okay, I'm going to try to make this a short video. And I really wasn't intending on going back into the topic of women, but the only reason I did because I looked at the comment section of this video and it made somebody made a good point that referred back to the scriptures, which they didn't do it purposely. You know, they didn't say anything about the scriptures. It was just through the spirit when I read their comment and then started looking at the other comments under them. I was like, okay, you know, they really going into something in the scriptures that they don't even realize. But the title of this video is Women Making the Dating Scene Like Prostitution is Their New Hustle, from Dating Right. And now this obviously isn't anything new, which is why they call it the oldest profession in the book. But here it is, you have the modern day woman who will shame men up and down all day about, not paying their bills or, remember back, I think it was back in 2023, they had a whole list of places where they said men couldn't take them on the first date, whole list. This was just a couple years ago. But these modern women were shaming men all this time about, not taking them to high, expensive places as if they was worth it or this, that, and the third. And now here it is, years later, you got a whole slew of people online just going into how they selling it. Women going into their selling it. And they're being more open with it. That's the difference. They're being more open with it, and not fearing shame. But I'm going to play a little bit of the beginning of this video, and then I'm going to skip to like 10 minutes and 30 seconds because it's something else I wanted to bring out, and I'm going to get a couple scriptures so Lord will is edifying. It's fair use, fair use, fair use. I'm not using your content to make any money. This is strictly for educational purposes, bringing out biblical truths. Fair use, fair use.
If you're talking to me and he ain't got no money, this all I hear.
I am sick and tired of seeing these women dry begging on the internet.
If you have to put a price on your...
To put a price, I ain't gonna lie. I need at least 25, at least. But I'm 25, like starting.
Honey, okay.
Huh?
Honey, okay.
Okay, 25,000. 25,000.
The dating pool in Atlanta is for sale. Trust me. These women out here selling cats. I said it again. These women out here selling cat. They're not looking for love. They're just looking for finances. What bill would you pay for them? That's all that matters right now. And me being around athletes, entertainers, niggas with money, bro, I see what these women are willing to do.
And if you gotta sell coochie to someone to get what it is that you fucking want, sell it. Sell your shit. Sell it. I said you can. Sell it. Get what the fuck you need to get out these niggas. Sell that shit. I can't participate in that. Unfortunately, my husband is out there. I'm somebody's wife, and they not gonna like it if I'm out here selling twat. You know what I mean? But you can fucking sell your shit. Sell it.
I have $87 to my name. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
If you see me at strip club on stage, mind your damn business. I'm saving for Christmas.
Sometimes we go to the streets and we go to men. And right now, prostitution is real big with these little girls. Some of them make it home, some don't.
Do you think it's the music that's influencing that? Or it's just...
No, I think it's... I just think social media. I think social media is the devil.
Social media.
Social media.
Can somebody tell me how much coochie supposed to cost? Because I applied for a job and I didn't get it. So I know when I sell the coochie, I want to put it on the right side of the market. Like, are we charging rent? Because rent...
And I'm going to pause it right here because I didn't read these threads, but this comment right here, it's this cat will always say it's a built-in cheat code women have because not enough men have the discipline, which is gonna tie into the next thread that I'm gonna get, which that's what's gonna lead me into going into the scriptures. But this is a good comment because this goes into why discipline is so important for a man, because women know that they have power when they can manipulate a man into listening to his lust instead of staying disciplined. If a man, ever learned discipline or not, they know that they had the power to manipulate his lust. And that's why the scriptures talk this. That's why the scriptures always talk about beware of women like that, beware of whores. I might get into that too. But I'm gonna play a little bit more of this video and then I'm gonna jump to the 10-minute
enough.
and 30
I still
second
need
one.
water and electricity, car, no end insurance, food, nails, hair, gas money, Or do you just or do you get to come back? Is it like a pay the whole 5,000 fee? You get every 30 days, you get 30 days to hit? Or like, I need to know because I keep trying to go the right way.
Your bitch think I'm romantic. My plug is Phil Jackson.
I didn't call back up to these people. Why y'all, hold on. Let's address the real issue. Why the hell y'all putting out applications? And then I called up and you said, we ain't been hired for 3 months. But back to the topic, how much the coochie supposed to cost? Rent or rent in some?
Where the niggas at who paying bills? Cause I'm not doing this shit no more. Like I'm done. I'm so fucking done. Now I see why these women out here like living good. What a nigga paying their bills? Like where are they? Because I'm not doing this no more. Like the car insurance going up. I'm paying rent. I gotta buy food. I gotta take care of everything. I'm not doing this anymore. Now I see why people stay in relationships and they're miserable. At least the bills paid. I'm not doing this no more. Where the niggas who spend money, who pay all the bills? Where they at?
And as you can see, women, this is a reality. A lot of women are actually experiencing this. But at the same time, it was the same women who, even if they didn't say it out their mouth, they had the mindset of they're independent. They don't need a man. They want a man. A lot of women had this mindset of they don't need a man. They want a man. Now they're realizing that the world has always been situated for a man to be out in the field working and providing for his family. And you're not built for that, okay? You're not built to handle everything alone. And the Lord didn't create He didn't create it for you to be alone. But women, the modern woman has been indoctrinated, and not even just the so-called black woman. The so-called black woman just been indoctrinated the most, but the modern woman in general. So this is all 12 tribes. This is the heathens that's been over here in Babylon the Great, or anybody that's outside of America that has westernization built into their mind. This is the modern day woman in general, but especially over here in Babylon the Great, and especially amongst the so-called black woman, because as you can see, this is all they showing on the video. They don't show I don't know if they show a lot of Edomite women that's saying this, but you got Edomite women that's like this too. But the modern day woman has been indoctrinated by feminism, by thinking that they're liberated, and now they're realizing that shit, life ain't what it's all seemed to be. And the ones who wasn't doing it, wasn't selling, now they're actually going out here and doing it. And it's a lot of women that it's a lot of women that you work around, or that you probably live close to, if you neighbors or whatever. Women in your family, it's women out here doing it, and they trying to hide it because they don't want the shame that come with it, and want to make it seem like they can't afford life. But at the end of the day, a lot of men, a lot of people already knew, when women were doing all these things. Because hell, if men can't afford to go on trips, if men can't afford to take these lavish vacations that women be posting all these pictures and stuff from, what makes you think these women are able to do it? And women still are not making more, and I ain't saying every woman, but you still have a lot of women that's not making more than men, you know? And then you got young women, early 20s, early to mid 20s, taking these, you know, long trips. And I ain't saying that, you know, every woman that took them sold or selling it or doing something, you know, like that. I'm not saying that, but you have a lot of women that's doing it. Whereas you have men who actually working good jobs and stuff like that, they not even doing that. So it's obvious what's going on, you know. But let me go and jump, because this is gonna be a dynamic shift. And before I jump, well, yeah, I'm gonna jump, and then I'm gonna get the thread that I wanted. Then I'm gonna get some scriptures.
The world, anywhere they can go.
I'm not gonna be able to pay the mortgage.
Really secure her future.
Now you gonna see the difference. These are women that are married, married, and they're gonna be I guess in some type of challenge or whatever. But they're telling their husband, and it's all for attention, but they're telling their husband that they don't have the money to pay the bills or pay the mortgage, and he gonna say he paid the mortgage. This is the difference in dynamic from women that don't have a husband or don't have a man and women that do. And this ain't got nothing to do with the women saying that they submissive and they know how to be a woman or a wife. This is just the difference in dynamic for having a man that actually pays the bill and women that's out here trying to do it on their own.
All because of that special thing that creation gave her.
Tell you something.
Tell me.
I'm not gonna be able to pay the mortgage this month.
I got you, baby.
I can't help pay the mortgage this month.
Oh, thank God you let me know that.
I can't pay the mortgage next month.
Okay. Try again next month.
6 little ducks that I want.
You're so fucking perfect.
Stop it.
Best friend.
I don't think I'll be able to pay the rent this month.
What do you mean help me? You don't pay the rent. I pay the rent. You've never paid the rent. You've never even offered to pay the rent. You've never even been like, hey, you want $5 towards rent?
I'm not gonna be able to pay the mortgage this month.
In that case, bye.
I'm not gonna be able to pay the mortgage this month.
Well, hell, you don't ever pay the fucking mortgage anyway.
Hey, I'm not gonna be able to pay the mortgage this month.
Bitch, have you ever...
I can't pay the mortgage this month.
What?
I can't pay the mortgage this month.
Who?
I can't.
Kate?
Me.
Who?
Me.
What do you mean you? What?
I'm not gonna be able to pay rent this month.
Well, when the fuck have you ever paid rent?
Babe, I'm not gonna be able to pay the mortgage this month.
Listen, I won't be able to pay the mortgage this month.
You don't pay the mortgage any month.
Right, so now you can see, like I said, I'm guessing it's a challenge, and you see that they got a caption on each one of them. But for the basically they're saying that they can't pay the mortgage, and the man is saying that I do all of that, you don't do that. But you can see the difference in dynamics. Now I wanted to get this coming thread right here. It says a man doesn't need a woman if he can control his lust, and it made me think about 1 Corinthians chapter 7, what Paul said, which I'm going to get into after it. And it said, somebody said, the more we control it, the more powerful we become. The more powerful we become, the more they come running anyway. Either way, we're winning. And it says, win by not wasting time, money, energy. Win by becoming more powerful, stronger, and in more control of yourself, of your time, focus, desires, lust, mind, etc. And they're absolutely right. It says it's an ascension to another level of yourself, a higher level. Extremely recommended for all men. It feels powerful, freeing, exceptional. Right. Because, and it was some, it's this woman, I think her name is Alexia. She makes a lot of content about, men leveling up. She exposes a lot of women, and not exposing women, but exposing the mindset of women and how women operate. And a lot of her content be extremely on point. And one of the things she said was recently in like a little YouTube short was that I think distraction or lust sells. She was saying something like that, lust or distraction sells, because a man that can't control his lust, when they put it out there, they make it to where you become a slave unto it. And if you're a slave unto your lust, you're willing to spend money, time, and energy, and you can never really get out of it because you don't control it. Your lust controls you. Your desires control you. So, I'm gonna get some scriptures because I know I'm rambling, but this is what they're basically going into, how not to be controlled by your lust, because as you can see, when men step away from the dating scene and not approaching women, they're starting to feel the pressure behind it. It says, unless you stay spiritual, focus more on other things in life. It says, yeah, so that's pretty much it. So let's go into 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1 first. And it says, I'm reading the AMP. It says, now as to the matters of which you wrote, it is good, it's beneficial, it's advantageous for a man not to touch a woman outside of marriage or outside marriage. So a single man that doesn't have a woman, it's good for him to not touch a woman. And the reason why he said that is because of the society, especially during the ancient Roman Empire. It wasn't beneficial to try to get into marriage because of how bad things were and how bad they were getting. It wasn't a calm society or empire to where you can relax. You can get comfortable. That wasn't a time that they was living in where it was comfort. Just like now, it ain't comfortable in Babylon the Great. A lot of people are discomfort or they're uncomfortable. Salakia, they're uncomfortable. And see what these scriptures have done through Yahweh Shah, it has redefined, and I'm talking about men of the hopeful elect. It has redefined our minds to where we're learning to be comfortable with being this uncomfortable, and now it's not even really affecting us. And that this, I ain't just saying just men that's single, men that's in a relationship too, because the scriptures also tell us in what is it? I think second. Get it real quick. It's the 2nd Ezra 16. It's redefining the way you think. As it says in Romans chapter 12. This is 2nd Ezra 16, verse 44. Well, I'm gonna read 40 first. It says, "O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth." This comes with a certain mindset. This doesn't mean, okay, now you switch and then it just instantly like that. No, it's a certain type of mindset you have to develop in order to be ready. That's why I said make you ready to thy battle. So making you ready means you have a certain mindset has to come with what's about to happen on the earth. Because like I said, it's going to be evils on the earth. Make you ready for thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. So it's a certain mindset. Now, verse 44 is the point. It says, "They that marry as they that shall get no children, and they that marry not as the widowers." And this is really mainly for men. It says, "They that marry as they that get no children," because you in a whole different mindset. This ain't the time to be trying to get comfortable when it's going to be a time like never before on the earth. So. And then it said they that marry not as the widowers. When widowers, they're single, they're moving in a whole different mindset. They're not thinking about trying to settle down. So even going back to what Paul was saying, he said it's good, it's advantages, it's beneficial for a man to remain single. Because he said it later in the chapter. It's good for a man to remain single, but that doesn't restrict him to not being with a woman or with women. It's just saying that he can focus on Yahweh Ba'ashem Avashai. He can actually get his mind ready for the battle. He can get his mind ready for what's about to happen and serve the Lord more and learn how to control his lust, learn how to better himself and level up physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, outside of being distracted. And not saying that every woman is a distraction, but women tend to come with distractions or tend to be a distraction because now his interest is divided. And not just women in general, the modern day woman. Now, verse 2, it says, but because of the temptation to participate in sexual immorality, it says fornication in the KJV, aka going into any type of unlawful sexual behavior, which includes adultery, includes the alphabet, going the other way, or bestiality. These are all examples of fornication or sexual immorality, things that goes against the laws of when it comes to sex, and you find that in Leviticus. So it ain't talking about a man had sex before he actually put a ring on a woman's finger, or a man that had sex before marriage. That's not what it's talking about. It's going into all the laws that the Lord gave us in regards to who you can have sexual relationships with and who you can't. It says, let each man have his own wife and let each woman have her own husband. Right. So it wasn't restricted to say you can't have a husband, you can't have a wife. But for a man, it was saying that it's good, it's beneficial, because it advantageous, because you can actually have the opportunity to master yourself and level up to a whole nother level, making you ready for the battle, making you ready for what's about to happen on earth, because a lot of people are not going to be able to handle it. And the reason why it's so important for a man, because first and foremost, the Lord is dealing with his men. And secondly, men were designed to lead women anyway, because during this time, women not going to be able to handle the evils that's going to happen. They can't even handle the pressures of the society now. That's why they getting online talking about selling box, Now, what's going to happen what you think, if they doing it now and they can still make money, what you think they're going to do when the more and more jobs close down, and now they don't have no way to pay for food, or they don't have no way to survive without that, And the price is going to tremendously drop. It ain't going to even be just for, like she said, $25K. She asking for the price. No, it's going to be for food, for what? It's going to be for things that's a necessity to survive. It's going to be for food, for clothing, maybe for a blanket, That's what it's going to be going for. But for the man that has control over his lust and over his desires, you don't get caught up in that, because these women they really looking to get over, They're really looking first and foremost, this is a way for them to try to survive and still feel like they have power. But once that's all taken away, they're going to be in straight survival mode, doing whatever it takes to survive, That's why, again, Isaiah 4:1, that time is coming. So I'm going to jump down, because I'm trying to make a specific point. Let me see, where is it at? All right. This is 1 Corinthians 7:27. It says, are you bound to a wife? Do not seek to be released. Are you unmarried? Do not seek a wife. But if you do marry, you have not sinned in doing so. And if a virgin marries, which is a young woman or a young woman or a woman that hasn't had sex yet, it's either or. It's not strictly just a woman who hasn't had sex yet. It's also a young woman. And if a virgin marries, she has not sinned in doing so. Yet those who marry will have trouble, special challenges in this life. And now I'm trying to spare you that. So, and that's what Paul was going into. He was giving them advice on how to deal with the pressures of relationships in this wicked society. Because in the ancient Roman Empire, it was a wicked society too. That's why today America is known as the modern day Roman Empire, because it's both. But America's is 10 times, it's 1,000 times worse, and more wicked. But again, this is a certain mindset. This is what he's telling them. Like, if you have a wife, look, don't be trying to get out of the relationship, because which you have to read the chapter, go up a couple of verses. He say, if you got a wife that don't believe, but she still want to be with you, and especially if y'all have children, she'll be sanctified under you and your works. And likewise, if it's a woman An Israelite woman that believe and your husband don't believe, he'll be sanctified, and the Lord open his mind up. You know, Lord will, he might open his mind up to believe and start coming into the truth. And if y'all have children, they'll be sanctified because of y'all or you know. But he also say, if you got one, don't try to get released or don't try to, leave her. But if you don't have one, don't go out looking for one, because just like he started off with, it's good, it's advantages for you if you remain how you are as a single man, to level up and really focus on serving Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. But because we understand what's coming. See, verse 29, it says, but I say this, believers, the time has been shortened. It says Paul may be referring to the appointed time of the return of Yahushua, or he may have been focusing on, he's talking about for the time of the return and the judgment, like I said, the evils that's coming on the earth. So it says, but I say to this, believers, the time has been shortened, so that from now on, even those who have wives should be as though they did not. See, it's a certain mindset because of the evils that's coming. And Esdras was written before this time. Second Esdras was written before this time. So they knew about this too. Read it. Where it's talking about be even as pilgrims on the earth because of the evils that's to come on the earth. And now we have to develop this mindset too. And it's beneficial to do it. It's easier to do it. I say it like that. It's easier to do it when you have less distractions, But this is not me saying men need to be single or nothing. This is still in reference to the thread that the brother or whoever said that on the video, how they were saying, basically a man who can control his lust and control himself, he can't be manipulated. And 9 times out of 10, not even 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, women, they obsess over the man that control himself, because she can't get him like she got other men. And that makes him unique. That makes him stick in her mind. The type of man that actually is focused on his purpose, and doing his purpose, especially for us in this truth. When we serve Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua and focused on our purpose and put the Lord first, we don't ever leave these women minds, And I hope brothers know that. You don't ever leave these women that you dealt with in the past, heavily dealt with. You don't ever leave their mind. They always think about you, and they know a little bit about what if you told them, they'll know a little bit about what you involved in. And as the times get closer, they're going to realize the importance of what you was involved in. You ain't going to ever leave their mind. But like I said, those that have wives should be as though they have none, and those who weep as though they did not weep. See, this is the same thing that we read in Second Esdras. He said, if you have a wife, be as though you're not gonna get no children, and if you don't have a wife, be as the widower. He says, and those who weep as though they did not weep, and those who rejoice as though they did not rejoice, and those who buy as though they did not possess anything, and those who use the world taking advantage of opportunities as though they did not make full use of it. For the outward form of this world, its present social and material nature is passing away. See, the way that this world operates, everything is changing, and it's changing for the worse. The Lord is getting ready to destroy Babylon the Great in its entirety, and he's breaking the society down piece by piece. And that's going to have everybody else that's not in this mindset of making themselves ready for the battle. It's going to have them crashing out. It's going to be a lot of people crashing out, and you don't want to get caught up in that, especially as a man. You don't want to get caught up in that. It says, but I want you to be free from concern. The unmarried man is concerned about the things of the Lord, how he may please the Lord. See, the unmarried man, the single man, the one who don't have a woman, he's focused on how he can please the Lord. And things that please the Lord, you serving him and him seeing you grow, him literally seeing you grow from worshiping, serving Yahweh Shema Shah, doing your best to keep the commandments. Because it's more than just keeping the commandments and knowing you're an Israelite. There's growth that come with that, character growth. Things that this world would never be able to show you, or you would never be able to get out of this world. And this truly what makes you stand out as a man anyway. Being able to grow from experiences. And it ain't just, it's just being in this truth. You get another level of growth. But like even with the comments, when people were saying, being able to control your lust, they wasn't saying anything about, the scriptures or being in the truth. But being in this truth, you become a different caliber of man. Something that this earth, you're something, which I say you, I'm going into, the brothers. You're something that this earth has never seen outside of Yahweh Shah, because nobody else on earth is doing this, making these life changes and mindset changes, and doing it in accordance to the standards of Yahweh by Shema Shah. Only the men of the Lord are doing it, us of the hopeful elect. So you are on a whole nother caliber, and that's whether you single or not. I'm just going into how rare you are, But like I said, the unmarried man, he's strictly focused on serving the Lord. So his time is less divided than it would be if you had a woman. And again, this is not going against having a woman or being married or anything. This is mainly just going into how being single, you're able to control, you're able to master yourself with less distractions. That's the point of the lesson. And as you can see, a lot of men who stepping away from the dating scene, and they're actually starting to get a control of themselves. The industry's losing money and women losing their power because men are not, they're not feeding into their lust anymore. Now, verse 33, it says, but the married man is concerned about worldly things, how he may please his wife, which is nothing wrong with that, because that comes with it. That comes with it. And again, Paul, he wasn't speaking against being married. He was just saying that your attention is going to be more divided than the unmarried man. And his interests are divided. The unmarried man or the virgin, which is the young man, the unmarried woman or the virgin, is concerned about the matters of the Lord and how to be holy and set apart both in body and in spirit. See, even the women are the same way. The women that's in this truth, that's sincerely in this truth, she's focused on trying to serve the Lord and get herself together. And the Lord is having her to grow. That's what pleases the Lord, seeing you grow in his and in the standards that he set. Because that's what was always meant for us to do anyway, for us to learn and grow and become the best version of ourselves we can possibly be. But a married woman is concerned about worldly things, how she may please her husband. So this is both for situations where you got women that's in this truth, whether they're single or whether they're, in a relationship. And that relationship can be with a man that's in the world, or it can be with a man that's in the truth. These things, see, look, the days are evil. GMS Saints of the Most High, the days are evil. That says, now I say this for your own benefit, not to restrict you, but to promote what is appropriate and secure undistracted devotion to the Lord. See, that's the whole point. Undistracted devotion to the Lord. And these women that's out here selling it, a lot of them are a big distraction. They are a big distraction. They're trying to survive by any means necessary. They're going to do whatever it takes to get what they need or get what they want. But for a man that's actually focused on his purpose and trying to control himself, control his lust, and not give away his time, his energy, and of course his money, these women, they lose their power. They lose their power big time. And guess what? That's when they're going to start to, especially when the days get more and more evil and less men are available to them, then they're going to tap back into that mindset of being submissive. And that's why, I think I said in my previous video, or maybe the video before that, it was a video I did recently. A lot of women, they're not going to make it because you can't just switch into submissive mode. That's not something that comes with a whole from what Babylon the Great, what America has done to us, that comes with a whole process of character development and mindset change that you can't just do overnight. You can't just do in a couple of days. That takes time. It takes time for us to actually change and adapt and grow. I'm gonna try to wrap this up though. I know I said I wasn't gonna make it long, and it's probably already 30 minutes in. But it says, but if any man thinks that he is not acting properly and honorably to his virgin daughter, by not permitting her to marry, if she passed her youth, and in the KJV it says flower of her age, meaning she's able to have children, and it best be so, let him do as he wishes. He does not sin, let her marry. See, it has reached her childbearing years. That's what it means, past her youth, because it's already known that when you hit puberty, that's when everything changes. A man's voice deepens. He starts to get more and more attracted to women and attuned to women, and now he's able to produce children. And same with a woman. It says when she reached her years, her cycle start. That's her childbearing years, and that's the actual time for. Look, it says in ancient times, marriages were usually arranged by the girl's father or the head of the family, which I did a video on that. I think my last video, but it like I said, it goes into that's when women are able to start being married. It says, and I'm probably just read this. I'm going to just read these last two and I'm going to close it out. Verse 37, but the man who stands firmly committed in his heart have no compulsion to yield to his daughter's request, but the man who stands firmly committed in his heart, having no compulsion to yield to his daughter's request, and has authority over his own will, and has decided in his own heart to keep his own virgin daughter from being married, he will do well. So then both the father who gives his virgin daughter in marriage does well, and he who does not give her in marriage will do better. So basically we're saying, look, if you got a daughter and, it's your decision if you want her to be married or not. It's your decision if she gets married or not. And if you don't, that's fine. That's not saying in every single scenario. It's mainly because of the evils that's to come, the time that we living in. Because the Lord created, and I'm probably ending on that. The Lord created it for man and woman to be together. So don't get the wrong idea. The Lord, here it is. This is Genesis chapter 2 and 24. Therefore, KJV, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. See, the Lord created it for man and woman to be together. So don't get the wrong idea of saying, it's good for a man and a woman to not be together. You go into that cleave. See, down here it says to stick fast, to adhere strongly to, and then it says to become very strongly involved with or emotionally attached to someone. So the Lord created it for man and woman to become strongly involved with and strongly emotionally attached to each other. And that's how it's going to be. But the times we're living in now, and especially with the modern day woman and their mindset, that type of dynamic, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen just so often. That woman has to be sent by the Lord, to that man. That type of woman has to be sent. So like I said, don't get the wrong idea. Women were created for men, and in the kingdom of heaven, every Israelite woman will have a husband, and every Israelite woman will have children. Every Israelite man will have multiple wives, and every Israelite man will have an abundance of children. And that's facts. That's in the scriptures. I know I keep saying I'm going to end it on that, but I'm going to end it on a different scripture. This is Deuteronomy chapter 7. 7 and 14. I'm gonna just get it in a different translation. This is Deuteronomy 7 and 14 in the NLT. I'm gonna get in the NIV. It says, "You will be blessed more than any other people. None of your men or women will be childless. nor will any of your livestock be without young. So there you go right there. And this is going into the kingdom of heaven, you know, being under the blessings. It said, no man, we will be blessed more than any other people on the face of the earth, any of the other nations. And it said, no Israelite man or Israelite woman will be childless. Meaning you have a husband, and a man, he gonna have an abundance of wives, as many wives as he want. And no Israelite will be childless. So that time is coming. And guess what? This mindset of how I gotta get this one too. Isaiah 4:1. I'm gonna start at 1, but the point is on down, I think at 3 and 4. KJV. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. So that proves that it's going to be multiple women. And this is on this side. That reproach is going into being unmarried. And especially because of the way the society is going. You know, these women are desperately seeking a man. They want a man. Verse 2, in that day shall the branch of the Lord be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel, meaning the elect. It's going to go well with them. It's going to go well with the elect. Exceedingly well. And it shall come to pass that he that is left in Zion, and he that remaineth in Jerusalem shall be called holy, even everyone that is written among the living in Jerusalem. So the elect will be called holy. Now verse 4 is the point. When the Lord shall have washed, I'm going to read this in the KJAMP. When the Lord has washed away the moral filth of the daughters of Zion, and has cleansed the bloodstains of Jerusalem from her midst by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning. So like it said in the AMP, it says the moral filth of the daughters of Zion is going into the women, and it's going into the mindset that they have. When the Lord would have washed away the mindset that they now have to this day, which he's doing that for a lot of women. They're growing. Women in this, of course, in this truth, growing, which, mindset change, character development. But even women that's, probably outside of the truth, you still have certain women, it's a very small number, but you still have certain women that's growing. They just don't know the truth yet. But I'm going to end it right there. And Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson. So on that note, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to all the brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping this word of sincerity and in truth. And until next time, shalom.